this beautiful fish mural on the wall until we covered it over with
Oh,
all of our
well.
signs. But we still call it the fish room.
I think I had like a real estate closing in this office. Like,
It's interesting that
my accountant used to work up here.
as a design function, they've like obscured the view, which is interesting, right?
Like, this is nice, let's put something in front of it.
Yeah. Are we? Is there any way we're doing? Are we just like gonna start when the time is appropriate, or?
Yeah, when
Okay.
our press is ready.
I'm
Yeah.
ready, I don't know if anyone else is coming.
I think we're good. We're at 1:16, so they're late, so go for it.
All right, well, good afternoon. My name is Aaron Frey, and I serve as Maine's Attorney General, and I appreciate you being here today. Tomorrow, we are going to see two very different visions for our future on full display on the debate stage. On the one hand, we have Vice President Harris's vision for a new way forward that will protect our freedoms, that will strengthen our democracy, that will uphold the rule of law, that will cut costs for families and ensure that everyone can not just get by, but get ahead. On the other hand, you have a vision from Donald Trump, who is running to make himself the most powerful president ever, and to give himself virtually unchecked power and control over Mainers' daily lives. And he has a detailed, written-out plan outlining exactly how he would do it. That is Trump's Project 2025, and it is all about power, about giving him virtually unprecedented power to do whatever it is that he wants. Now, to do it, the Project 2025 agenda includes plans to overhaul the Department of Justice and to give Trump virtually unchecked power to seek vengeance against people who disagree with him, even though the Department of Justice has acted independently for decades and decades to uphold the rule of law across the country. Now, this isn't just some empty threat. Trump has threatened to terminate the Constitution and to imprison his political enemies and even rule as a dictator on day one. Now, let's not also forget that Trump has already tried to overturn one election and destroy democracy on January 6th. We know that he could make it happen, and Trump is surrounded by MAGA loyalists who are organized to build and implement this plan. Now, those who worked closest with Donald Trump while he was president have warned that he should not be president again. Those who are with him now are ruthless and are willing to do whatever it takes to get Donald Trump into power. Now, with this nearly unchecked power, Trump will control. Project 2025 would eliminate the Department of Education and defund K-12 education programs. It would monitor pregnancies and punish women if they have abortions. His plan would gut Medicare, eliminate prescription drug negotiations, and give the wealthy and corporations a massive, massive tax break. Trump's overwhelming need to gain personal power and control women and all Mainers is dangerous and extreme. We cannot allow him to destroy our democracy and take away from our fundamental freedoms. There's only one person who can stop Donald Trump for good, and that's Vice President Kamala Harris. As a prosecutor, she stood up for women and children by going after those who committed sexual abuse. As Attorney General of the largest state in our nation, she cracked down on transnational gangs trafficking across the border and took on big banks on behalf of homeowners. As vice president, she has continued this work. She has helped lead the administration's response to Trump's overturning of Roe v. Wade, including the 3 executive orders to protect access to reproductive health care. We need to stand behind the vice president so that we can stop Donald Trump, so that she can stop Donald Trump and his extreme agenda once and for all. And that is why we are here today. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I need my reading glasses here. I'm Representative Jess Fay. I represent the communities of Poland, Casco, Raymond, and Frye Island in the Maine House. I'm a small business owner and a community volunteer, and I'm serving my 4th term in the Maine House of Representatives. I'm the House Chair of the Government Oversight Committee and a member of the Appropriations and Financial Affairs Committee. During my time in the legislature, a large focus of my work has been on issues that matter to older Mainers. That meant prioritizing healthcare, workforce, and direct care workers, working to hold down the cost of property taxes, and making sure that people could afford the everyday necessities that they need to survive. One thing I can tell you with complete certainty is that so many older Mainers are right on the edge, and that their monthly Social Security check is the only thing keeping them afloat. When we watch the debate tomorrow, we'll see two very different visions for the future of our country. One held by Vice President Harris and Governor Walz, which builds up the middle class and lowers costs for Maine families. And one held by Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, which raises costs for working families while helping billionaires and big corporations. As I've looked at both candidates' policy agendas, I'm deeply concerned about Donald Trump's Project 2025. Not just for older adults, but for all Americans. It will let him effectively take control of everything in our country, from our freedoms and rights to our economy and the ability for Mainers to make ends meet. But what would be devastating for older Mainers is that Project 2025 would give Trump the power to do what he's been threatening for years: cut Social Security. He would get rid of the Inflation Reduction Act's historic caps on prescription drug costs and insulin, which could increase the cost of prescription drugs for the 65 million seniors and others on Medicare, including 375,000 right here in Maine. I've been loud and clear for years. Mainers deserve to be free of the worry that they won't be able to afford their medication. Hardworking people deserve to be able to age with dignity. No one should have a politician putting them in a position to choose between affording their prescriptions and being able to pay the rent. Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz have a plan to lower costs and protect Social Security by making the ultra-wealthy pay their fair share. Vice President Harris has helped cap the cost of insulin for seniors, allowed Medicare to negotiate drug prices, and capped the yearly out-of-pocket costs for prescriptions. As president, she'll fight every day to lower costs and look out for the economic well-being of Mainers, so that everyone has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. This election is a choice between standing up for working families, small business owners, and everyday Mainers, allowing Trump to hurt the middle class in order to prop up the richest of the rich. That's why this election, it's up to us to choose a new way forward, to elect leaders who believe in government that is run by the people and not by corporations. So with early voting starting in just a few weeks, we need to get the word out in our communities about what's at stake. That means electing Vice President Harris and defeating Donald Trump's plans to take us backwards. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Nicole Clegg, and for nearly 2 decades, I have been involved in advocacy for reproductive rights and freedoms in Maine. We know that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance want to roll back our freedoms and take control over our lives, and that includes the ability to control our own bodies and access to essential health care. Just a week ago, Trump endorsed Florida's extreme abortion ban that applies to women before many even know they're pregnant. And just to be clear, this ban is deeply unpopular and is expected to fail because people do not want their rights restricted. Donald Trump wants to make this a reality across the country, and his Project 2025 agenda will give him nearly unrestricted power and control over women and their daily lives. That's his entire goal in this race, to get unlimited power, and Project 2025 is his blueprint for achieving that. Many of us remember the day Roe fell. Millions of women across the country lost their fundamental right to control their own bodies and futures. And there's one person to blame: Donald Trump. Because of Trump, more than 1 in 3 women of reproductive age now live in a state with an abortion ban. In 2016, Donald Trump ran on the promise of overturning Roe. As president, he handpicked the 3 Supreme Court justices who cast the deciding votes. And Trump continues to brag about being the person responsible for killing Roe and unleashing extreme abortion bans across the country. Something he calls, in quotes, a beautiful thing to watch. But if Trump gets reelected, he will go even further. His extreme Project 2025 agenda includes banning abortion in all 50 states with or without the help of Congress. And to be clear, that includes Maine. We can stop him, but the only way is to elect Vice President Harris as president. As we'll see on the debate stage tomorrow, Vice President Harris knows that women should have the ability to make their own decisions, and she's been fighting for our freedoms for years. From her time as Attorney General to U.S. Senator and now as Vice President, Harris has been an unequivocal champion for reproductive freedom and rights. As Attorney General of California, she worked to keep reproductive health care providers safe. As a senator, Vice President Harris sounded the alarm on the Supreme Court nominee, Justice Kavanaugh, and supported legislation to counter state attacks on reproductive health and access. Now, as Vice President, she is helping lead the Biden-Harris administration's response to Trump's overturning of Roe v. Wade, including 3 executive orders to protect reproductive health care access. She was the first sitting vice president to visit a Planned Parenthood health center. And she is fighting to pass a law restoring reproductive freedom for women and giving them back control over their bodies in every single state. For Maine, women and their loved ones, the choice is clear. We have to stop Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and their extreme Project 2025 agenda at the ballot box. We have to elect Vice President Harris because we refuse to go back. Thank you.
Any questions for our speakers today?
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron, I'm Jim from Channel 13.
Jim.
Justice Department lawsuit that they just filed against me.
Not commenting yet. I haven't seen it. I read about it on my drive down.
Okay.
So I'm not in a
That's fair.
on it yet.
No, it's really awesome shit.
Well, that's what I don't want to do. That's exactly what I have.
No, I certainly understand.
But stay tuned. I'm sure there's going to be some.